Good evening and welcome to Have I Got News for You? I'm David Tennant. In the news this week, after Kim Jong-un demands his favourite fruit pudding, his relieved chef returns having sourced the only watermelon in North Korea. On a Southern rail service, Mary Berry regrets trying to smoke a crafty fag in the train toilet. And in Salford, a BBC journalist reports on rumours that a pigeon may be loose in the breakfast news studio. On Ian's team tonight is a playwright who says a good tip for any aspiring writer is to write backwards. To welcome warm, a give please so, Lucy Prebble. And with Paul tonight, a comedian who was once heckled at a comedy festival by a sign language interpreter who was later ordered to wash their hands out with soap. Please welcome Reginald D. Hunter. So, we start with the bigger stories of the week. Paul and Reg,
yes.
Take a look at this.
Thank you. Oh, yes, Make America Great Again. Jeff Sessions has just been told to leave, and there's Donald Trump lookalike. Hitting looks like Angela Merkel, I'm not sure. Yeah, so this is the midterm elections in America.
It is. This is the realisation we're only halfway through the first Trump presidency. It was the midterms. Was it a bad night for Trump?
Well, not entirely. I mean, there is good news and bad news, but
Yeah.
essentially, come January, the Democrats are going to be asking for his tax returns.
Right.
Which he's not going to be very happy to be showing people because it will show his shady business dealings over the years.
Maybe it's all fine. Maybe he's never done anything wrong.
Yeah.
Don't be silly.
Trump ain't showed nobody a tax return since 2006. I mean, Democrats coming in, half of them want to be Republicans, so we'll see. I wish that had been funnier, but... I mean, you know, sometimes the truth is just humorless.
It was a good night for Democrats, though, wasn't it? I mean, to some extent.
Yeah.
It was, you know, they won the House, which
Yeah.
was what everyone was hoping they would do. More women elected than pretty much we've seen ever before. I think 2 women in their 20s, which is, I think, has never, ever happened before in American politics. I mean, I'm impressed that they got round to doing it. In my 20s, I was basically throwing up from too many Bacardi breezes and watching Home and Away. So, good on them.
Yeah, in all fairness to you, the country wasn't in as much trouble as it was in your 20s.
That's true. That's true. Maybe if I drink more Bacardi breezes, things will sort themselves out.
Well, I mean, if we can look at it that way if you want.
They did even manage to elect a dead candidate in Nevada.
Did they?
Actually, I think. Yeah. That was, you know, that's the level of voting intelligence that exists there. But that did make me worry that maybe that is happening all over the place. Maybe Jacob Rees-Mogg is like a ghost of a sadistic mill owner from Victorian times.
So did the dead guy do rallies and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was actually a pimp from Nevada whose body was discovered by Ron Jeremy, the former porn star. So, you know...
These are the stories we're not getting.
From here for very 2018 as a story.
This is Dennis Hoff
That's right.
in Nevada. I think we
Yeah.
can have a look at him. And he won the Nevada State Assembly seat despite being dead for 3 weeks. According to Trump, why was the Democratic victory in the House of Representatives actually good news for him?
Well, it means he can blame them when they block his measures and then say, well, I tried and it's all your fault.
This is how he put it.
They can look at us, and then we can look at them, and it'll go back and forth, and it'll probably be very good for me politically. I could see it being extremely good politically, because I think I'm better at that game than they are.
He's been wearing goggles in the fake tan again.
It's like a negative photograph of a panda, isn't it? He did say the other day in a rally, I've kept promises I didn't even make.
Yeah.
When the Republicans was in power, I mean, these last couple of years, the only thing he really got across with not much difficulty is tax cuts for the rich. I mean, that's been his enduring achievement so far.
Yeah.
So, and, I mean, we got rich Democrats. I don't really think he's going to have as much problem as people think he's going to have.
Well, that's very depressing, Reg.
Oh, I forgot. I thought this was England. country that has the weather that's great for poets.
It's true.
Well, I like the idea that he thinks he can concentrate on foreign affairs, because this caravan of people coming from Honduras, he said, was full of Middle Easterners. Somehow, the entire Middle East has moved into the top of South America.
That's when he got very angry with Jim Acosta, the journalist from CNN, who was asking him about this caravan and, you know...
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not really an invasion, which was the word that Trump kept using.
But he had a rally cheering,
Yeah.
saying we're going to shoot them. Yay!
Well, you know, the Trump supporters aren't bright.
You see, it's that sort of insight you don't get on mainstream shows.
It was pretty disgusting to watch,
Dreadful.
actually. It was really horrific. And it really shows that there is not a level playing field that sort of these conversations are happening on, even between Democrats and Republicans. It's like sort of playing poker with someone who's got aces up their sleeves, you know, and then basically will attack you if you win, turn the table over and, like, piss all over your shoes. It's not really a game of poker.
That's one of the reasons why I stopped playing the game.
I like the idea that one of the Republican adverts was so racist that Fox News wouldn't show it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the same press conference, we did indeed see Trump having a little word with one of his friends on the press corps. Let's take a look at this.
That's
Well, I was going to
enough.
ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr.
Excuse
President,
me, that's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation? Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead.
I think that's unfair.
You're a very rude person. The way you treat Sarah Huckabee is horrible. And the way you treat other people are horrible. You shouldn't treat people that way. Go ahead. Go ahead, Peter, go ahead.
In Jim's defense, I've traveled with him and watched him. He's a diligent reporter who busts his
Well, I'm
butt
not a
like the
big
rest
fan
of
of
us.
yours either, so
I
to
understand.
be honest.
See, this is where the next reporter should then have defended that job. Well, I mean, they accused the reporter of manhandling, putting his hands on this White House staffer, and which, of course, in the footage doesn't happen.
It's truly sinister what they've done there, because actually there's a video going around online now which is that footage, but sped up at one particular point. And it's sped up at the point that the arms touch. But the White House has retweeted it, and the White House is basically spreading that around as being what happened to show that Jim Acosta has sort of assaulted this White House intern, which is absolutely not the case at all. Their arms touch at one point. But that's an Orwellian touch. I mean, that's really incredibly sinister.
I have to be honest, though. In the last 10 years or so, I think the right wing in America, they've been whooping our butts with this. They'll say something really nonsensical, and we're stunned. And in the state of being stunned, legislation and stuff gets passed. Like, you know, you'll be in court with one of them, and your lawyer will say, we need to handle something about voting rights, and I think we need to look at these districts. And the other side will say, well, I love my mom, apple pie, and yabba dabba do. And you go, what the fuck? And then while you going, what the fuck? Somebody goes, case dismissed, next.
Why, after this result, there were some networks referring... What are they referring to Trump as?
Mostly censored, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, there's
The Great Survivor.
Some of them are calling him the Magic Man.
Are they?
Because the party holding the White
Yeah.
House actually gained Senate seats in a midterm election for the first time since 2002. And almost everywhere Trump appeared, the Republicans did do well. What did Trump do to celebrate the Republican increase in Senate control?
Punch a baby?
Well, and then sacked one of his staff.
The Attorney General.
Yeah, he made him resign.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And in a letter to Trump, Sessions wrote, at your request, I'm submitting my resignation. Also stepping aside was this man. Who's this?
I don't know.
Well, obviously, that's Alabama State Treasurer Young Boozer. Yes, this is the US midterm elections. During a heated press conference this week, President Trump called CNN's Jim Acosta a rude, horrible person, causing a nearby pot and kettle to blow a fuse. President Trump was also critical of candidates in his own party who were defeated because they didn't want the embrace of my support. On the plus side, Trump saved himself some money there. His embraces usually end up costing him thousands of dollars. One surprising victor in the elections was Dennis Hoff, a dead brothel owner in Nevada. According to the Mirror, Mr. Hoff died at his love ranch in Crystal. How distressing for him.
They were doing the joke minutes before.
Ian and Lucy, take a look at this.
Oh, that's Mr. Banks.
Oh, God.
Yeah. That's money laundering, I think.
Brexit now doesn't seem to have been a sort of movement politically. It seems more to have been like a stag party for a second wedding that's gone terribly wrong.
He's had a bad week, Aaron.
Yes.
He's been under investigation, and people have said, where did this money come from that you gave Leave UK, which was your organisation? And Andrew Marr asked him this question about 4 or 5 times, and he got very cross. He did a full Trump.
Yeah.
You know, when you're... Can you explain that? Did he sort of rise in the chair?
No, his immediate thing, he turned on the media and he said, this is you know, the establishment stitched me up. Perfectly reasonable question. One wants to know, you know, is this country's democratic system funded and interfered with by Russia?
Is Aaron Banks litigious, Ian?
Yes.
So I couldn't call him a Poundland Bond villain?
Oh, yeah, do.
OK, all right.
He described himself as the bad boy of Brexit.
So what y'all saying then is he some kind of bad dude?
There's nothing gets past you, Reg.
He's saying, of course, that none of the £8 million donation came from Russia. It is quite difficult to follow, so, as you say, he went on Andrew Marr and explained it like this.
Where did the money originally come from?
It's not like I'm using a super injunction to try and hide my
Where
affairs
did
here.
the money
I'm
originally
telling you,
come
it came from a UK company
Which
that had
company?
cash generated in the UK.
Which
We've
UK
evidenced
company?
That, Rock Services. We've evidenced that to the
Your
Electoral
Rock
Commission.
Services is a shell company. It doesn't generate
You
money
just said
itself.
it's a shell company. You just read the FT.
You told Parliament that Rock Services was just a service company. You've told me something very different today.
I haven't seen the
And
actual
part of it-
transcript of that. I will go back and look at that.
Well, let's just remind us what Aaron Banks did say to the Commons Select Committee. He said, Rock Services is a treasury function. It just delivers the cash. It is just a service company. The actual loan came from another one of my companies that was delivered in. Aaron Banks still hasn't said exactly which company the loan came from.
The brilliant thing at the end is, because he is so completely Trumpy now, he said, I wish I'd voted Remain.
Yeah.
After all that. He's given £8 million to vote Leave. He gets the result he wants. He's friends with Farage. He gets to meet Trump and he says, oh, I wish I'd done the other because I'm on Mar, being accused of being a crook. Just accused. Don't laugh.
And then what was Theresa May accused of earlier this week?
Still being in power.
A leaked document suggested that Theresa May had already done a secret deal with the EU and was planning to bypass the cabinet and generate public support by a stealthy media campaign.
She's good at those.
So stealthy, it's almost like nothing's happening.
It is a great idea, though, isn't it, that she did the deal, say, a year ago, and she spent the whole year going...
Yes, the cabinet members are complaining of being kept in the dark. One insider told The Express, we're calling them mushrooms because they're kept in the dark. And more importantly, if you pick the wrong ones, they turn out to be deadly poisonous.
But if you pick the right ones, they turn out to be wild.
Who had a revelatory moment about Brexit this week?
Oh, I know. This is Dominic Raab,
Yeah.
right, who he kind of discovered that we're an island and that we're quite close to France and that basically that causes trouble with imports and exports.
Yes.
Yeah, the government tend to do this. They put people in charge of departments which they know nothing about. Karen Bradley, for example, was put in charge of Northern Ireland and said, I don't know anything about Northern Ireland. But that's good. I mean, Theresa May, I think, rightly appoints people to jobs about which they know absolutely nothing. So they've got a fresh approach. Like Boris as Foreign Secretary. He knows nothing about anything.
I think Boris had his best chance to be prime minister before Trump became president. Because it's like, after Trump became president, y'all looked at Boris and went, hell no.
Dominic Raab did say he hadn't quite understood how crucial the Dover-Calais route is for UK trade. The Brexit secretary, ladies and gentlemen, and the pinko lefty liberal Ramoners at Channel 4 held a Brexit debate this week. Who was the star of that show?
There was a woman behind Nigel Farage who was rolling her eyes, I think.
She's a legend. She was great,
Was she?
yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Let's have a look.
Well, not much confidence in you, Nigel.
Well, I tell you what, there'd be no confusion, because what we're getting here is a Remainers Brexit. Theresa May never believed in it. She's watered it down.
She's had offers of marriage, hasn't she?
She has, yes. Harriet Ellis, she's a classic student. She actually voted Leave. She just doesn't like Nigel Farage.
Excellent, at last. The country's coming together.
And indeed, after that, she went viral and got marriage proposals. You should get married, Harriet. You'll get a chance to use that expression lots. Who else is causing trouble in Europe?
Is it Merkel?
There's another country.
Another country
in Europe?
Name them all. France.
Is this the Italian budget question? I do hope so.
It's someone... It's Poland.
Poland, oh, yes.
Donald Tusk is very worried that Poland is moving towards leaving the EU. What are they going to call that? Anyone know?
Noland. Sorry.
That would be much better than the real answer.
Hexit.
Yeah,
Plexit?
Nearly.
Polexit.
Polexit. There you go.
Polexit.
Which isn't very good, is it? I mean, if Poland are really causing trouble, the Germans can always go and sort that out, can't they?
Too soon.
What fundamental problem do the Cabinet have as far as the rest of the country is concerned?
Well, that no one agrees with anyone about anything.
Yeah.
There's no majority for any course of action from any group of people anywhere in Britain. Which is quite a problem.
It is. Think much more facile than that.
I just said it.
The problem is no one knows who they are.
Naming the Cabinet.
Exactly. YouGov conducted a large poll and it revealed that everyone had heard of Theresa May, which is a good start.
Yeah.
And Philip Hammond was recognised by most. Really? But less than 20% had heard of David Gauck. Which is difficult to believe, isn't it? Just to prove how recognisable David Gauck really is, should we play a game of Where's David Gauck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he have music?
Yeah. I'm going to show you a series of complex images, and you have to tell me where is David Gauck. Fingers on buzzers.
OK.
Here's the first one. Anyone know where David Gauck is?
Yeah.
Yes?
He's third from the left of the second row. Right, I say, yeah.
Not sure. No. Here's the second one. David Gauck, he's in there somewhere.
Yeah, behind the red briefcase, basically, far left. Exactly.
No, he's the bloke next to him.
He's coming out of Osborne's ear.
Nobody can be sure. And how about the third one?
It's like the birth of Athena.
He's looking through the window.
Oh, yes.
I've got it.
Theresa May has had some good polling news, though. Anyone know what that is?
No.
And she's still more popular than any other alternative.
That's exactly... Well, yes, she's the least unpopular living Prime Minister. According to that same YouGov poll, she has a rating of only -14. Which actually beats Gordon Brown, John Major and David Cameron. But who's bottom of that?
Tony Blair.
It's Tony.
Of course, Tony Blair with an approval rating of...
-28.
-48.
Very close, -45.
Oh.
He weighed into the Brexit debate again this week, and he did what?
He made a lot of people change their mind. Whatever he said, they thought, nope, I don't agree with that. I like David Cameron's comeback. Did you see he was testing the waters? He floated the idea that he might return.
He did.
Whole country going, no.
He sort of implied he was a bit bored, which was even more insulting, really.
Yes.
When we're living in sort of the most upsettingly, gruelling, exhausting time to be alive, when you just wake up every day and see the news and want to cry, and basically because of him. And he's like, I'm a bit bored. Is anyone else?
Well, apparently, a friend of his told The Sun the reason he wants to return is that he's bored shitless. But Tony Blair weighed in and he urged MPs to vote against any deal put forward by Theresa May, saying that anyone who approved such a deal would face a political backlash that will last a lifetime. Takes one to know one. How did Jeremy Corbyn dodge a question this week?
I haven't heard about Jeremy Corbyn in months. Like, has he actually done something, even if it's dodging a question?
Did he win biggest marrow on the allotment?
He did this.
Any response at all about the police investigation?
Good morning, how nice to see you.
Do you think the Labour Party...
Good morning, how nice to see you. Goodbye.
Are you finally going to take action on this, Mr Corbyn?
Goodbye.
Oh, come on, he's consistent.
Yes, exactly. And then what has Prince Charles said he won't do when he becomes king?
He won't meddle.
Yes.
He won't even comment.
He said he won't meddle with topical issues because he's not that stupid.
So the chances of him hosting this show are fairly remote.
Stop sending the letters, yeah.
He could come on and be neutral.
Yeah.
He'd be good.
Yes. Now, here's the odd one out round.
Yes, this is the news that Theresa May has finally sorted Brexit. I'm kidding. One insider denied that there was a secret deal ready to be signed off. We are not sitting on a powder keg, said a government spokesman in 1605. On to round two. This is the randomiser of news. Fingers on buzzers, teams.
Yeah.
Ian.
This man swam around the whole of Britain.
That's right. Ross Edgley has become the first person to swim around Britain. How long did it take him?
About 25 minutes.
3 months.
100 days.
157 days. Said he had some incredible experiences, including swimming with minke whales in the Bristol Channel, seeing a 7-metre basking shark in Scotland, and celebrating his 33rd birthday in Grimsby Harbour. We've all been there, mate. What did Ross lose while swimming?
Some weight?
No.
No.
He'd forgotten how to walk. The arches of his feet. I'm not making this up, am I?
Had he grown a tail like a merman?
Well, muscles do atrophy in your legs very quickly. If you know, within a couple of days, if you're not using them, it starts the process.
Yeah.
So he hadn't forgotten how to walk,
No,
his
no.
legs had.
His legs had, and he's got to do that. Is that right?
No.
Ian, you made me look like an idiot.
He lost his tongue. And I don't mean metaphorically. Bits of his tongue actually fell off due to the constant exposure to salty water. He told The Guardian, "I realised something was bad when I woke up with chunks of it on my pillow."
Hang on, pillow?
Yeah.
What's he on, a night?
Pillow?
Well, he didn't sleep in the water.
Didn't he? Well, that's not swimming around the coast non-stop, is it? What did he do? Go to a hotel?
He's still a human being. He's not the Little Mermaid.
He's a liar. Honestly.
The man's tongue fell out.
Yes, because he lied.
You're applauding this poor bloke.
He woke up with chunks of it on his pillow. The flesh was a lot like beef stroganoff or slow-cooked pork. You could see the taste buds on it. It was that thick.
He sounds proud.
How did he protect himself against jellyfish?
We had a wetsuit on.
Yeah. What bit was exposed?
His face. He wrapped a duvet round it. Pillow man.
He tried not to swim into a jellyfish face first.
Yeah.
Well, he did, unfortunately.
Did he?
To
That
avoid
might explain the tongue, too.
Yeah.
he grew a beard to
And
avoid
a
it
tongue.
happening again. Because, in his own words, a fat, giant jellyfish of Scotland and its tentacle had been slapping me in the face for half an hour.
Yes, your breakfast is ready. You want croissants?
You're
You want
protected.
chocolate on your cappuccino?
What other feats of endurance has Ross Edgley done before this? Do you know?
Yeah, he's walked upstairs and claimed it was Everest.
I'm just so sorry for him.
He's gone through worse than this.
Yeah.
Didn't he swim the channel?
He swam 24 miles dragging a 100-pound log.
Did he?
He did, yeah.
In water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That had an outboard motor on it.
He ran a marathon pulling a car.
That somebody else was driving. see this guy's MO. I mean,
What lengths did one woman go to get a cake to Ross?
Did she swim out
Yes.
with the cake?
Well, he was resting in the Hebrides one morning when a lady
resting
swam
in the
out.
Hebrides. Was this man in the sea at any point? He walks around the island 5 feet away. I'm in the sea, but it's a bit cold today.
He was in the sea at the time.
Was he?
He was resting in the sea.
Was he?
Perhaps on a lilo, I don't know. I was resting in the Hebrides one morning when a lady swam out to me with a cake resting on her head. Unfortunately, Ross then discovered the cake had a severely soggy bottom.
Right.
What international cake event took place this week?
The International Cake-a-thon?
Yeah, there you go.
How did you know that?
This mine.
The world-famous Cake International was at the NEC in Birmingham. Included a number of cakes in the shape of famous people, like a disturbingly lifelike Prince George. There he is. Oh. Yeah. Who wants to play a quick game of Guess the Celebrity Cake?
Yeah!
Come on!
Yeah, absolutely. The last
Fingers
one
on buzzers. Who is this supposed to be?
It's not a footballer, is it?
It's one of the Chuckle Brothers.
Yes.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, topical news quiz.
It's the late lamented Barry Chuckle, of course. Yes.
right.
What about this mustachioed hunk on an eclair? Ian.
It's the other Chuckle Brother.
Oh, I know. It's Burt Reynolds.
It's Burt Reynolds. Yes, it is.
That amount of hair.
You'd be disappointed if you didn't find hair in that. And finally...
That's Nigel Farage.
It's Nigel Farage, yes.
What,
by...
is it a geisha? It's a Scottish geisha.
Nigel Farage by artist Philippa Edgerton. It's captioned, Nigel Farage as a sculpted fruitcake. Quite. And what did Lynn Dwyer from Northumberland find in her butter this week?
What did you find in her butter?
Take a look.
Find that.
Did her husband leave for work early?
That's a marital hieroglyphic.
The Sun went with the headline, I can't believe it's not butter. Yes, this is the news that Ross Edgley has become the first person to swim around Britain.
Allegedly.
According to the Daily Telegraph, Ross slept on a support boat.
Oh.
Started the day with a breakfast of 2 pizzas. I think it was tough for him. Spare a thought for the delivery man in his moped. Time for the odd one out round. It's just one between you this week. Fingers on buzzers teams. Your 4 are Richard Madeley, Char the cow, Meghan Markle, and a statue of Mo Salah.
That's Richard Madeley?
Richard Madeley, yeah.
Madeley.
Yeah. The game is not to identify the people.
Okay. They have something to do with awards. The cow won an award.
What did the cow win an award for?
Best supporting actor.
Sexiest cow.
The sexiest cow in Norwich.
Have you stumbled on this by accident?
Yeah.
Because you're nearly right.
Yeah. Is it really?
Yeah. Which is the odd one out?
They're all presenting Radio 2's Drive Time.
Mo Salah's the odd one out.
No.
That's right. Richard Madeley's the odd one out.
No.
Meghan Markle's the odd one out.
No.
The cow's the odd one out.
Cow's the odd one out. Yes, they've all had their appearance criticised, except for a Jersey named Char, who's been voted Britain's sexiest cow. What does Char's owner, Charlotte Cunningham, attribute this significant victory to?
Quite a lot of blue eyeshadow, I
It does
think.
look like she's been made up slightly, doesn't it? Yeah. She said that Char has great hair, big pretty eyes and statement eyebrows.
What statement are they making?
I am a cow.
Do you want to have a look at the two runners-up?
Yeah.
Here's Twinkle.
Yeah, no, right decision.
Yeah, but look at Bonnie. Yeah.
I mean, it's cute, but you wouldn't want to have sex with
Yeah.
that.
Although, it did come third in a Boris Johnson lookalike contest.
What was Char's prize for winning the competition?
Life.
Yeah. Not to be made into steaks.
A weekend spa retreat for two. So what, according to royal experts, is Meghan Markle's bad habit that she's been criticised for?
I think this is not wearing a hat. Is that right?
It's not wearing a hat.
It's not wearing a hat. Is it not wearing a hat?
Although, how dare she not wear a hat?
Yeah. OK.
She's been criticised for wearing too many clothes with pockets, like this. I know. Yes, a righteous
Pockets
gasp.
and dresses are the answer to absolutely everything, and I will fight for the right to have pockets. Woo!
It's amazing what you get a round of applause for.
According to royal etiquette expert William Hanson, he says, there is good casual and there is bad casual. Placing a hand in the pocket is too relaxed and unprofessional, however dressed down Prince Harry and his wife may have been.
I bet when Meghan sees that guy again, she's going to give him the skunk eye.
What part of Richard Madeley's appearance was criticised this week?
His hair?
Not quite.
Not quite his hair.
His facial hair. He's been experimenting with some designer stubble.
Is this Movember?
No, nothing to do with Movember. It's just Richard being the crazy cat that he is. But his bosses at Good Morning Britain, they weren't too keen on it. They asked him to shave it off. Madeley said, so it's all gone, smooth as a baby's bottom. Here he is before shaving, and here he is after. So, worth it.
Is he standing in for Piers Morgan?
He is, yeah.
Right. Well, I don't think you should discourage him, for God's sake.
What other surprising revelations did Richard make mid-show?
He doesn't wear underpants.
That's exactly right, yes.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think how I know that. Oh,
He revealed he hadn't worn underwear for decades. And why has a statue of Egyptian footballer Mo Salah been criticised this week?
the head's too big. Or it's out of proportion or something.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like
Cool.
him.
Wait till they see the Sphinx.
It's good to hear a Sphinx joke. You know?
This generation, nothing with the Sphinx joke.
So I turned to Ramesses II.
Here's a picture of Mo, and here's the statue that was unveiled in Egypt this week.
Man, he looks like Leo Sayer going through a change.
Yeah.
This is, of course, one in a long line of bad footballer statues. Where did Kevin Keegan come face-to-face with his own effigy? Do you remember this?
Don't know.
On Blue Peter. Let's have a look.
Well, what do you think of your twin?
It's tremendous, you know, the hair, it's almost life-size.
Right.
And even right down to the boots, I think she's done a tremendous job with it.
Well, I'm glad you like it, because Sylvia would very much like you to have it as a present. So let me pass it over to you. What do you think we'll need to do with it? Will you put it on the mantelpiece?
Yes, they've all had their appearance criticised, except for Char, who's been voted Britain's sexiest cow. And if you find her attractive, you want to get in touch with her, you'll find her on Meat Grinder. Some people are already protesting that it's a bit sexist to objectify a cow for her looks. #MooToo. A sculptor of footballer... sorry, I need to say it again. I said sculptor instead of sculpture, didn't I? Sorry. You won't see it on the telly.
You managed to turn back time.
Yes, an old trick.
That essentially was my joke, but you didn't get the first bit, did you?
An old trick. A sculpture of footballer Mo Salah has been criticised this week for not looking anything like him. One critic said of the statue, "Why does Mo Salah have the body of an 8-year-old?" You thought the charges against Ronaldo were serious. Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication the Tools and Trades History Society newsletter. Skip the item about detachable drill heads, there's always a boring bit. We start with one of the best things about last month's Tools and Trades History Society meeting in Suffolk was...
the sex show at the end. Featuring Monica and her obedient snake, Tommy.
Was it that it was cancelled?
Was it that everyone got hammered? Hey!
It was the buffet we enjoyed afterwards. This is, of course, from Tools and Trades History Society. If you're looking to see a wide variety of tools, you'll find them at the buffet. Next, whenever the royal family play football at Balmoral, what?
The Queen referees. And if there's a foul, she waves play on.
No.
What do you mean, no?
She doesn't. What does the Queen do?
She plays in goal.
Exactly right, yes. The Queen always goes in goal.
You know, I think I'm cleverer than I really am.
This is the surprising revelation this week that not only did the royal family enjoy a kick around, but the Queen likes to go in goal. But to be clear, we're not saying the Queen is a footballer. That would be silly. She could not get by on 300 grand a week. Next, the history of what is an eye-opening read?
Ophthalmology.
Matchsticks. Botox.
Ancient tools of Britain.
Getting closer.
Ancient tools of Scotland. New tools of Ireland.
The adjustable spanner.
I was going to go spanner.
You were.
Wow, what I was going to say was going to be wrong.
This is, of course, an article from the Tools and Trades History Society newsletter. There's one chapter about a particular tool that was really hard to tear myself away from. It was a wrench. Next, what tastes better than supermarket soup?
Revenge.
Yes. Homemade soup.
Probably does, but the unlikely answer is soup for cats tastes better than supermarket soup.
Do cats know they're making soup for them?
Well, they should, because apparently it's delicious. This is the news that soup made for cats has more meat and better flavour than the average soup for humans. Unfortunately, this will make the people who produce cat food even more arrogant, going around giving it the big I-ams. Next, Daniel Craig says fame has taught him to what?
No. Oh, sorry. I forgot, man.
Reg, you're buzzing in. You can't buzz in.
Yeah, I don't know many, so, you know.
Daniel Craig says fame has taught him to live forever, and now he's going to learn how to fly.
Yes, I like that. It's to drink 18 pints in 30 minutes.
What?
Yeah.
How did fame teach him that?
Well, this week Daniel Craig has revealed that he drinks too much too quickly, as he only has a 30-minute window before he gets recognised in pubs.
After that amount of drink, he wouldn't know who he was anyway.
James Bond certainly drinks way too much. In fact, in the next film, Goldfinger isn't a villain. It's the first sign he's got serious liver failure. Next, to get round stadium ban, Scottish football fan what?
Stays at home.
Disguises himself as a hot dog stand, a mascot, a corner flag, a woman.
Watches game in a tree is the answer.
What? Is it possible to play football in a tree?
He just was watching it.
Oh, I see.
This week, a fan was ejected from a football ground in Scotland, so decided to watch the rest of the match in a nearby tree. Let's have a look. He's up a tree! He's up a tree! Yes, this is the match between Falkirk and Ayr United, watched by one fan from the top of a tree, or as it's known in Falkirk, the corporate box. And finally, how many of you have felt the inexorable force that drags you into what?
An ironmonger's.
Very close.
Really?
Yeah.
A tool shop.
Every tool shop you pass.
I'm going to buy a lottery ticket this weekend.
Here's a picture of the things you might pick up if you're a Saudi on the way to the embassy. And on that high note, the final scores have Ian and Lucy on 4, but Paul and Reg have pulled it back with 6.
We finally won! We finally won!
Before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
The Republican wives luncheon.
More tea, Wicker.
Why do wizards earn 20% more than us?
The annual staff dinner of the Witch Consumer magazine goes very well.
And I leave you with the news that in Westminster Abbey, after a noisy argument repeatedly interrupts the service, 2 members of the congregation receive a final warning that they risk being thrown out. In Dagenham, angry punters demand a refund after attending a performance of The Lion King in a pub car park. And abroad, there's a heartfelt reaction from one woman after a colleague asks if she's ever considered spending her retirement living in the UK. Good night.